Thank you very much, Jen. I want to check in with our live eye today. You'll find at 42 Spears Road, where Drew Kozub is checking a wilderness supply, looking at the equipment you're going to need, as is today's, technically, you won't notice by looking out the window, but the beginning of camping season. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning, that's right. Registration is now open for provincial campground, so just looking at some of the things that you need to be comfortable and safe. As you can see, we've got a great setup here with the little fire and the cook. Ooh, hot. We got a great setup here with the fire and the cooking stove and some good tools to keep you going. I really like this idea. There's a trend now, instead of using battery-powered things, you can use things that have a little crank. So that way, if you run out of batteries while you're out camping, you can still enjoy electricity. So if we can hook up a crank to a Super Nintendo, I think we've got ourselves the camping trip.
You're good to go. You would probably still do that in these weather conditions and with snowbanks everywhere.
This is true, but if that is not necessarily your cup of tea and you just like taking care of real camping, we want to make sure that your gear is in order. So to tell us a little bit about the things that we need to look for, we have Buffy Cowton here. You are the equipment expert, and let's talk repairs, because we talked about airing out our tent, we talked about airing out our sleeping bag, but what are some of the common things that we might discover have happened while our sleeping bag or our tent has been sitting over the last year?
So when we do take our tent out, especially big items like that, we remember, oh right, I tore that fly a little bit, or maybe on your jacket. One of the first things that we do tend to see is patching is necessary on something. So you don't need to buy a whole new item necessarily. You can get a little patch kit, Gore-Tex if you have a Gore-Tex item, or a simple vinyl repair kit. And that patch can extend the life of your gear for another couple of years easily, so you don't have to go out and buy a whole new item just because you have a little tear.
And very easy to do, and something that you want to take care of before you head out. Now, what happens if I remember, oh, wait a minute, that one corner of the tent was leaking? This is another thing that I should take care of before I go camping, right?
So waterproof items will usually have sealed seams where they're coated to make sure that water can't get through in the seam area. And if that seam has been ruined over time, you can reseal that seam with an item like this. That's best done beforehand where it's nice and dry, let that set, and that'll help extend the life of your gear as well.
Right, and because, we were talking about this stuff, I was like, oh, could you just throw it in your camping bag? And you're telling me it's best not used if the tent is wet. So if you really want to be determined, you can actually check by setting up your tent and then sprinkling the hose over it and then seeing if there's any leaking, right?
That's the best way.
Okay, good stuff. Now, what about this guy? This is something handy that we can use anywhere, correct?
It's another common item is a thermarest or a sleeping pad. If you do remember, oh, that was leaking out of that one corner or the valve wasn't working anymore, really expensive repair kit, takes care of most of the common problems that develop with those kind of items, and then you'll be good to go for another season.
Right, so this is for that little blow-up pad that I put underneath my my sleeping bag to make sure that my back is nice while I'm snoozing under the stars.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered the tent. Let's talk about our gear if we could for a minute. When it comes to waterproofing our stuff, we buy a really nice waterproof item and we think we're good to go, but this is something that you need to sort of keep up on, correct?
Waterproofing can wear off over time. One of the great ways to make sure that your gear does remain waterproof is to wash it. It's a good idea. You think you don't need to really wash a rain jacket, but it's good to do.
And if it's waterproof, I mean, what's washing it going to do? It's just going to repel the water.
You want to make sure, just like your other gear, don't use a normal detergent.
Okay.
If you have a chemically treated waterproof, which would be like a high vent rain jacket or most tent flies, the detergent will actually strip that waterproofing right off.
Oh, so the expensive gear that you bought will get damaged because of the improper washing techniques?
Just because you washed it, which is really a shame. And if you do have a more expensive, like a Gore-Tex, a waterproof breathable, washing it with normal detergent, it gets right in the pores of the fabric and it won't breathe anymore. So you want to just use that tech wash that we talked about before.
Yeah.
And then that's perfect spot treat on a big item, or just throw it right in the washing machine.
So using this stuff, we can put it right in the washing machine, or we can do the spot treatment. So whatever the case is going to be, how often do we need to be reapplying this sort of waterproof coating to our gear? A couple times throughout the season, once at the beginning of the year?
Usually once a year is fine. So you're going to wash it first with a tech wash, and then you're going to recoat, like you say, with the waterproofing. There's spray-on for large items like tents, or right in the machine for smaller items like a rain jacket. That'll recoat that waterproofing and make your gear last another couple of seasons easily with nice waterproof. So if you start to notice it doesn't quite seem as water repellent as it once was, the free waterproofing is a great way to extend the life of your gear.
All right, thank you so much, Buffy. Great ways to protect that camping equipment that you spent so much money on so you can enjoy your camping season. If you want more information about the stuff they have here at Wilderness Supply, just go to our website at breakfasttelevision.ca. Taking a quick break, but more camping tips for your spring camping season still to come today on BT.
There's a new world everywhere. There's a new